Welcome to the Panic Button, everyone. I'm Nina.
I'm Jessie.
So the internet's been crazy today. Text messages between the assassin of Charlie Kirk and his roommate have been released online, and the reactions are crazy. We're going to read them to you first, and then you'll hear the reactions. Okay? So Robinson says, I'm still okay, my love, but I'm stuck in Orem for a little while longer yet. Shouldn't be long until I can come home, but I gotta grab my rifle still. To be honest, I had hoped to keep this secret till I died of old age. I am sorry to involve you. Roommate, you weren't the one who did this, right? Robinson, I am. I'm sorry. Roommate, I thought they caught the person. Robinson, no, they grabbed some old crazy dude, then interrogated someone in similar clothing. I'd planned to grab my rifle from my drop point shortly after, but most of that side of town got locked down. It's quiet, almost enough to get out, but there's one vehicle lingering. Roommate, why? Robinson, why did I do it? Roommate, yeah. Robinson, I had enough of his hatred. Some hate can't be negotiated out. Really? Is that what he said? Negotiated out. Okay. If I am able to grab
like disgust. Like he's trying to say that Charlie Kirk, by having discussions, is trying to fix the hatred and the evil in the world from his perspective. And what this guy is saying is, no, there's no way to rationalize that with someone that crazy. You just gotta kill him.
Okay.
Continue.
If I'm able to grab my rifle unseen, I will have left no evidence. Going to attempt to retrieve it again. Hopefully they have moved on. I haven't seen anything about them finding it. Roommate, how long have you been planning this? Robinson, a bit over a week, I believe. I can get close to it, but there is a squad car parked right by it. I think they already swept that spot, but I don't want to chance it. I'm wishing I had circled back and grabbed it as soon as I got my vehicle. I'm worried what my old man will do if I didn't bring back Grandpa's rifle.
I don't even know if it has a serial number.
But it wouldn't trace to me. I worry about Prince. I had to leave it in a bush where I changed outfits. Didn't have the ability or time to bring it with. I might have to abandon it and hope they don't find Prince. How the F will I explain losing it to my old man? The only thing I left was the rifle wrapped in a towel. Remember how I was engraving bullets? The effing messages are mostly a big meme. If I see notices bulge, ooh-woo on Fox News, I might have a stroke. All right, I'm gonna have to leave it. This really effing sucks. Judging from today, I'd say Grandpa's gun does just fine. I don't know. I think that was a 2K scope. Delete this exchange. My dad wants photos of the rifle. He says Grandpa wants to know who has what. The feds released a photo of the rifle, and it is very unique. He's calling me right now, not answering. Since Trump got into office, my dad has been pretty diehard MAGA. I'm going to turn myself in willingly. One of my neighbors here is a deputy for the sheriff. You are all I worry about, love. I'm much more worried about you.
Said the roommate.
Oh, sorry. Roommate said, I'm much more worried about you. Robinson said, don't talk to the media, please. Don't take any interviews or make any comments. If any police ask the questions, ask for a lawyer and stay silent. So.
Jeez, man.
A lot of people are saying this, that it's fake.
Okay.
Other people are saying that it was rehearsed between Robinson and the roommate in order to absolve the roommate of knowing anything that he was going to do. Very few people are saying this is real.
That this is real?
Yeah. But what caught a lot of people's attention was the response from ABC News and Matt Gutman and what he said about the messages back and forth between Charlie Kirk's killer and his boyfriend. So we're going to watch this clip here. Ready, babe?
We have seen an alleged murder with such specific text messages about the alleged murder weapon, where it was hidden, how it was placed, what was on it, but also it was very touching in a way that I think many of us didn't expect. A very intimate portrait into this relationship between the suspect's roommate and the suspect himself, with him repeatedly calling his roommate who is transitioning, calling him my love, and I want to protect you, my love. So it was this duality of someone who the attorney said not only jeopardized the life of Charlie Kirk and the crowd, but was doing it in front of children, which is one of the aggravating circumstances of this case. And on the other hand, he was, speaking so lovingly about his partner. So a very interesting and, as Pierre said, riveting press conference, David.
It was tough.
Not to be that person, but Hitler really loved white people. like no one sat there and said, oh, Hitler, he killed 6 million Jews, but he spoke so lovingly to the white people.
And to Ava Braun.
You know what I'm saying, though?
Yeah. Well, was anyone surprised? I would just like to know, is anyone surprised?
Guys, everyone wants to be loved. Bad people do stuff just to be loved sometimes. And people who love each other still do bad things and hurt each other sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like this is life. Just because someone said I love you doesn't mean that they're a good person. Haven't you heard of gaslighting?
Jesus. You don't really hear them talk about Charlie Kirk loving his wife in such a heartfelt, passionate way. As Matt Gutman refers to, as he's talking about the gay couple, Robinson and the roommate.
I think the bigger issue is that we all know people are capable of love. Serial killers love their mothers often. Sometimes they hate them, but they usually have an unnatural bond with their moms. Not saying like this guy's like that. I'm just saying like this is a common factor that keeps coming up. Someone like this, I'm not saying they're incapable of love. Mm-hmm. They're incapable of deciding whether or not a human life is worth having or taking.
Yeah.
They think that their partner's life is more important than the life and safety of everyone else around them. And that's a dangerous thing. I care about your safety. And I care if like someone's attacking us, I'm going to try and save both of us. But I'm not going to put someone else in harm's way if you're not in harm's way. Just like you wouldn't do that for me.
Right.
I mean, you might want to punch someone for being mean to me, but you're still not going to go out and do it unless they actually did something.
Right.
Yes, it's called self-defense, not aggressor.
Yeah. But what would make Matt Gutman think that saying this and feeling some sort of emotion with the murderer would make him look good? If anything, it would have the exact opposite response. You're trying to empathize and feel the love that the murderer had for his partner. That's so disgusting.
Do you think that it was simply just poor scripting? Or do you think this
Possibly.
is something that he was doing intentionally to say he wasn't that bad of a guy? Like, do you know what I mean? Because there's identifying something and saying, do you see how much, like, it's obvious for us to see that this was stemmed from his care from his partner based on the language he's using. He's showing, based on these text messages, that he cares about one person but doesn't care about another. There's one thing to identify what you can see, right? But it's a whole different thing to label it touching.
Right. Like,
does that make sense? Did I say that right?
The wording is supposed to make you think that he actually cares about his partner. If this is all real, okay?
He can care about his partner, not care about other people.
But the actions that he took proved that he didn't give a crap about his partner. Because if he did, he would have never done this, because he knew somewhere in the back of his retarded brain that if he got caught, guess who's going to be questioned next and be held and be looked at as partially responsible? The partner.
I'll say this again.
Didn't take that into consideration.
Charlie Kirk wasn't the one signing off on laws. Charlie Kirk was maybe pushing what he believed should be law, but he wasn't the one signing off on laws. Not only did you put your partner at risk of losing you and whatever stability you might bring to their life, you also didn't even really stop the problem to begin with. If anything, you added fuel to people against people like your partner. And I'm not saying, I genuinely think this partner could be just a just fine lad. You know, I'm not sure who this is.
Okay. You have the right to your own opinion.
What I'm saying is I'm not sure if the partner would condone murder. I don't know this person. I'm trying to give a little bit of the benefit of the doubt.
Okay.
Just play devil's advocate with me.
I'm just listening.
To have done this, you are spiting your partner's name. You're not actually taking their needs into account. You're putting them in harm's way. Someone I know who identifies as trans recently said that the biggest thing they're scared of is the repercussion this is going to have on trans people. And now, I'm not trans, so I can't give out a personal take, but I will say that I could see it. I could see the negativity coming towards trans people, and some of them aren't completely wackadoo crazy. Some of the ones you think would be crazy aren't even that crazy. Mm-hmm. We've seen it. Yeah. We've witnessed it. Mm-hmm. Look at Jeffree Star, for example. If you just looked at Jeffree Star, you'd think, but he's not.
Jessica Gill.
Yes. A lot of people, I saw a Charlie Kirk clip come up today where it was this man who was trying to identify as a woman, but he was like, don't trans kids, wait until 18 to take medicine. And like Charlie Kirk was like, I agree with you on so many things then. Like, absolutely. That's a rational-minded person who doesn't believe in killing people, doesn't believe in transitioning children. And so there are rational people on that side. It's just harder to find them online.
Yeah, I think there's very few transsexuals out there that are like actual rational people. You see more crazy
You see more
people.
crazies. That doesn't mean that there's more of them out there. That just means you see more of them. I'm not saying every trans person's free of sin. I'm saying that there's a majority of them that don't condone murder, that don't believe in a lot of the crazy stuff. I'd like to at least give this person the benefit of the doubt, because I'd like to think most people don't condone murder. But this is just a hypothetical at this point. It's only making the partner look worse. It's only making the trans people look worse. And actually, it's making the people that date the trans people look worse. And I don't think they should have that kind of repercussion from this, because it was one person who did it, not the entire trans community. However, it makes people look sideways at people like that. Especially with all the shootings happening and everything else, would you not look sideways? It's a protective thing. You're protecting yourself.
Yeah, I'd say so. I think the partner knew. I'm not giving that partner the benefit of the doubt, but that's just me.
I think that if you haven't learned anything from watching this channel, I believe in innocent until proven guilty, and Nina believes in burn them at the stake.
Not all the time. Only the people who are really evil.
The people you really consider, but you don't know this person's evil. You know they were with someone who was evil.
We haven't found anything out yet enough about the person that he was dating. But I will say that they both belong to the same group of people. They're both chronically online.
Well,
they lived with each other. And in that discussion they were talking about, when he said to the partner, well, you saw me writing the stuff. Who else writes stuff on guns and ammunition? School shooters.
Right.
You didn't put two and two together? See, that's why I'm more suspicious than she is.
I understand that, and I do see, if this is, you said that nobody believes these texts are real though, right?
Yeah, people are very suspicious.
So I'm not necessarily taking these texts at
Face value.
I'm taking it with a grain of salt. And I will continue to say that a lot of people, not just women, but also men, especially gay men, don't feel safe and protected. And so someone who simply says they'll protect you can be very attractive when you feel like you don't have protection.
Even when their actions prove that they're not protecting you at all, they're putting you in harm's way.
I said this in one of the other videos. When someone doesn't feel safe, to hear that someone wants to protect you is a very attractive thing. And when your partner says, man, I'd like to kill someone, 90% of people don't take it seriously because they assume it's hyperbole. You're overstretching how much you hate someone. When you hear your partner say, "Man, I hate that Charlie Kirk guy. Right? I wish he was dead." You don't think they're going to take the action to enforce the dead.
Right.
I do agree if the bullet thing is real, that is sketchy, and that should have been a red flag. However, if you are someone who feels inferior, who feels like you need protection, which I'm assuming this trans-identifying person does.
The guy, yeah.
Yes. Then something like that is very attractive and something you do want. And you will pass over red flags because you feel like that is a protector. They will say things like that, and you will take them not seriously because you think this is just them expressing how much they want to protect me. I don't think it's a smart move, but if they're chronically online, they could be none the wiser because they're so dumb.
Actions speak louder than words. His partner's face is all over the internet. You think he's going to feel safe? Nope. Because people know what he looks like now. People are going to assume that he's part of it.
Which is why I say it's not intelligent for the
So
shooter.
he didn't give two garbage craps about him. Not one bit.
He wanted to shoot a gun at someone.
He cared more about himself than he gave a crap about his partner.
But he used the guise of caring about his partner.
Of course, most of them do. They're insane people. Nuts. Anyway, there's one more clip where Matt Gutman doubles down. Yes, ladies and gentlemen. Is anyone surprised? No, not me. You? No. She says no.
I rolled my eyes that you can't see behind these glasses.
I
It is. It's heartbreaking on so many levels, Kira. Obviously, Charlie Kirk was murdered brutally in front of a crowd of thousands of people who watched him being shot through the neck and then essentially bleed out in front of him. And I think one of the things that the attorney here made a very fine point about is that a lot of these charges, 7 charges, were aggravated because children were present. Children witnessed this. Children were put in harm's way. And that was something that obviously is aggravating here, and that's one of the reasons that the suspect, in addition to the alleged murder being political in nature, is facing the death penalty. They're going for the death penalty. And on the other hand, there is this duality of a portrait of a very human person, a very human experience from this entire family. As you mentioned it, the mother essentially discovered that it was her son who had done this, the kid who had got a 34 out of 36 on the ACTs, who had a 4.0, who got a full ride to college here. That kid was the one who allegedly perpetrated. She saw those pictures and said, identified him essentially. And then those text messages, and I don't think I've ever experienced a press conference in which we've read text messages that are so fulsome, so robust, so apparently, allegedly self-incriminating, and yet on the other hand, so touching, right? With the suspect reaching out to his roommate, who is allegedly his boyfriend, who we understand, identified as male at birth, now identifies as female, and the terminology he used. He was trying to protect him. He kept calling him my love. My reason for doing this is to protect you, but also asking him to delete the messages and not speak to law enforcement. So there's this heartbreaking duality that we're seeing very tragically playing out.
You know who else was really smart? The Unabomber. But he loved his family. Loved his family. It's so heartbreaking, touching. How human
But
and
it wasn't-
loving. Like, what the frick are you talking about,
But it
dude?
wasn't touching for the guy who had his whole family there at his Jesus talk with college kids. It wasn't touching to have him there with his, literally, I'm pretty sure his parents were there, as well as his wife and his
his
two-
Jesus talk.
Yeah, he talked a lot of Jesus stuff.
Yeah, but he was debating someone.
He was debating someone.
He wasn't talking about Jesus then.
No, he wasn't specifically talking about Jesus, but my point is, he wasn't sitting there causing any damage. He was talking about his faith and his beliefs with his entire family present, and you're telling me that that's not as touching and wholesome.
It's not as touching and wholesome. No, the fact that he really loved his wife and his family.
And strongly believed in his faith.
Yes,
that harmed
not
no
as
one.
not as much as the killer and the roommate. Wow. Yeah, we have to humanize these vile creatures that walk the planet and kill people in cold blood for just the reason of disagreeing.
one of
But
the
we're going to
most-
side with that person?
One of the most heart-wrenching things is that his entire family was there. One of the most heart-wrenching things are the kids that had to see it, which included his own. Where's the humanity in your opinions? We all know that he loved someone. Everyone loves someone. Everyone's a sister, a brother, a daughter, a son. Even if your parents are dead, you're still somebody's someone.
But we don't always have to sympathize with the evil person. When mainstream media does stuff like this, when they sympathize with the evil person who killed someone in cold blood just because they disagreed with what they believed in, when you do that, you're pretty much saying, you're pretty much shitting on the victim and the families while trying to prop up and humanize this evil, vile creature who I believe in the death penalty should receive it. What do you guys think? You can let us know in the comments below. Are you disgusted by this, or do you find it to be touching and loving? It's so sad. Anyway, like and subscribe, join our memberships,
Comment below.
and we'll see you in the next one.